Letter Reviews here, and today we'll be talking about one of the most corrupt concepts in which had Atelier, the magic tax. The magic tax was introduced in chapter 48 and it added some more depth to the witch and human interactions we've been seeing and hearing about throughout the story. In this video, I'll be breaking down the concept of magic tax and its effects on the story and its characters. If you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also support me on Patreon for early access to videos like this one. The link is in the description down below. Now, what exactly is magic tax? Let's talk about it. Magic tax is a very troubling concept, and there are many layers to why this concept gives very disturbing implications about how which societies ran. It all starts with magic itself. As we all know, magic in Witch Hat Atelier is something that everybody can do. However, due to the Great War, the current witches decided to hide the magic capabilities every human has access to and pretend that magic is something only people born as witches can do. This lie pretty much separates humanity into two groups. One that knows they can use magic, and the other that doesn't know that they can use magic. This means that common problems that humanity would usually be able to solve with magic would now be far more difficult to overcome since they lack the magical knowledge they used to have in the past. Since it was the witch society's fault that humanity currently lacks magic, how exactly does the current witches respond to the problems humanity is facing that could easily be solved with magic that they were supposed to have in the first place? For most of the series, the answer was not exactly clear. Throughout the series, we have seen witches help humans numerous times. Why exactly did they help them? It could have been for many different reasons, but the main one people decided on was that it was probably due to their genuine care for people. We've seen Quirfrey and Origiro preach many times that magic should be used for the people, and witch society in general has many festivals and events that try to integrate magic into normal people's lifestyle. We see many magical tools that are created with the intention of helping normal humans have an easier life, and there are even apprenticeships where witches will personally come and aid humans with different tasks. Even though the witches hid magic from humans in the first place, it was still heartwarming and pleasant to see them going so far to at least try to add as much magic into the lives of normal humans as possible. Looking at them as true heroes or good Samaritans might have been warranted if this was all truly done from the heart. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Chapter 48 exposed to the readers that normal humans have to pay a magic tax if they want witches to get deployed to help them with their problems. This concept completely destroys any notion of witch society helping out humans because they're being good Samaritans, and it also questions their true motives behind hiding magic in the first place. There are three main reasons why I believe the magic tax system is very corrupt and its existence devalues most of the good deeds witches do for the world. First off, there is nothing necessarily wrong with a system taxing people to help them, since the funds created through the taxes are usually used to continue to provide that service. Just like how normal citizens' tax money helps pay for many social services we enjoy, if Witch Hat Society was something similar, I would have no problems with it. However, that is not the case. In this society, everybody can use magic, but witches are hiding that fact from the people. And when a problem arises that they need magic to solve, the witches are forcing them to pay money before they help them. This is messed up because the witches would normally not even be needed by these countries. There used to be no demand for them at all since everyone has magic and could solve these problems on their own. However, because they hide magic from everybody, they created a demand that was never there in the first place and is currently profiting off that demand. This is very grimy activity, and I was severely disappointed because I believed that they were helping out due to more intrinsic reasons like passion and goodwill instead of extrinsic ones like money and profit. The second reason I believe magic tax sounds very corrupt is that it is implied that magic tax is treated less like a commission and more like an insurance or a subscription. What I mean by this is that under a system of like a commission, if there's a problem that you need magic for, you can commission or pay a witch to come and solve that specific problem for you. But under a system of taxation, you have to continuously pay a tax for when you might need a witch's help in the future. The reason why the taxation system is far worse is that you can go years without ever needing magical assistance, and you still have to continuously pay the magic tax out of fear of when you finally do need a witch, they can be available for you. It is also implied that if you aren't continuously paying the magic tax, the witches won't help you at all. So, out of safety of their own individual countries and citizens, most kings are forced to pay this magic tax regardless of how they feel about it. The third reason why I think magic tax is corrupt is that witches pick and choose what problems they want to help you with. Most countries are currently suffering a huge problem with bandits and pirates, so they are requesting help from witches. However, the witches refuse to assist them with these problems because they are man-made disasters, and they only want to help with natural disasters like heavy snow and volcanic eruptions and drought and severe rain. The representatives of the different countries told the witches if they really want to help people, they should assist them with these problems that are plaguing their citizens. But the witches don't fold under their pressure and stand firm with their way of doing things. This is a terrible look for the witches because even though these people are paying their magic tax, the witches still want to help them with their countrywide problems just because it doesn't fit a certain criteria that they want. The way they talked about man-made disasters made it sound like they don't even consider themselves as human, even though nothing the witches do is beyond what a normal human is capable of if magic wasn't hidden from them in the first place. One of the representatives was angry that the witches were acting like outsiders that had no business with the affairs of humans whose problems were affecting many human countries all over the world. It's clear the representatives would much rather prefer help with the bandits and pirates rather than help with heavy snow. But the witches don't care and don't even let them decide or vote on what they want to get help for, even though they're continuously paying a magic tax. One of the representatives implied that they sent out dispatch requests for many things other than just natural disasters, but the witches only dispatch for natural disasters. From what we know, there really isn't something in place to force the witches to help the humans when they get dispatch requests, so when they go and what they do is all up to them. Since there is no way to check the witches and make sure they are properly helping people, the power is completely in their favor, and they are forcing normal people to pay the money for help that most of them don't even find very rewarding. Overall, the concept of magic tax is very troubling, and it gives some insight into the witch society's hidden nature, which prioritizes greed over helping people in need. The idea of magic tax introduced the frightening power of money and how much importance it holds to high-level witches. This recontextualized many earlier scenes where we see witches helping certain people and assumed it might have been because of goodwill when it was actually because of money. This adds up though, because there are many cases where witches come to help out a lord or someone very wealthy and high in power. It's easy to assume the poorer people in the story will need magical assistance the most, but again, we mainly see formal witch support for those that are very wealthy instead. We have examples of this when Origio was deployed to go help a lord decorate his daughter's wedding. Surely there were far more dire circumstances that needed Origio's talents more than helping a rich lord decorate his daughter's wedding, but considering how money-focused the witch council seems to be, it makes sense why the council would send one of their witches to help in this scenario. This is depressing because I didn't even think money was something witches cared very deeply about, but due to the context behind magic tax, there are many signs that have been hinting at how dominating money might have been in witch culture. Everyone is aware of how influential money is in the real world, but throughout the series we didn't have any blatant scenes that sold the idea of witches being very money hungry and prioritizing receiving money over anything else. We can make educated guesses in hindsight about how certain scenes had heavy money undertones, but there was still no strong case for it until we got the backstory of Lelouci. Lelouci's backstory was introduced shortly after the concept of magic tax, and it gives insight on just how terrible the influence of money is affecting the decisions of higher up witches. In that backstory, Lelouci was a young witch who had a fellow witch friend. They worked hard together and finally graduated to a position of helping out a lord. It is very hard to get into this position, and many witches fail to do it. This makes Lelouci and her friend one of the most promising and outstanding young witches who will eventually help lead the future. With the knowledge we have now, we can pretty much guess that the lords are paying a lot of money to have witch apprentices come and help them around. As Lelouci and her friend were working with the lord, they started noticing he was making unwanted sexual advances towards them and will continuously sexually harass them. The lord eventually molests Lelouci's friend and might have even gone as far as to sexually assault her. The Lucy, who was frightened out of her mind, ended up using magic and attacked the Lord. They eventually meet up with the professor, and instead of him being enraged that his students were harassed and molested, he instead scolds them for overreacting and using magic. There are many layers that support why an extreme and harsh punishment is warranted against this sex offender, but instead, the Witch Society and even the Lucy's personal mentor took the side of the Lord. Witches would usually support other witches over humans. People will usually support hardworking and talented individuals over those they think have no future. Decent people usually support victims over their abusers. Witch professors will usually support their students over almost anyone else. So, with all these reasons at play, and the Lucy qualifying for every single one of them, why is she not receiving any support? The answer is simple: money. The Lord was rich, and he most likely paid very good money to Witch Society. Now, it seems like witches value money so much to the point that they will turn a blind eye to sex offenders attacking their own promising young witches simply because they're being paid well. Throughout the story, Witch Society in general almost never hesitate when it comes to deleting memories for people who are criminals or break the rules. We see how even in chapter 1, Quirfrey was ready to delete Coco's memories because she was a human that saw and used magic. But it seems that when a lot of money is involved, or if one of the parties is a big sponsor towards Witch Society, the witches seem to be far more lenient in keeping them around or even defending them. This is absolutely disgusting, and I'm embarrassed for ever thinking that the society was somewhat based upon good intentions, good morality, and genuine passion for helping others. Overall, the introduction of magic tax really changed the way I viewed witches, and it brought a very troubling layer on how witch society actually functions. Magic tax has many layers to it, and it exploits the weaknesses of mankind. The messed up part is that the current witches are the ones who introduced those weaknesses and are now profiting from them. The whole system is very unfair, and it led to the realization that most people the witches help are just rich people, and they're doing it mainly for money, not because they need the most help. Through Lelusi, we even see how money made the higher up witches turn a blind eye to absurd crimes towards their own youth just because of a good check. Moving to the future, I can see money playing a bigger and bigger role in the decisions of these witches, and it will eventually be a crack that can expose to everyone that these witches might not be as good as they claim to be. As much as I dislike the concept of magic tax, it still provides much depth to how witches and humans interact, and it shows that there are many factors at play when it comes to how the Witch Council acts when providing aid to human civilization. Witches are the backbone of the story, so I am very excited to see where exactly Shirahama is taking us with their storyline. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to show support to the channel. Also subscribe to my Patreon for early access to more videos like this one. The link is in the description down below. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.